Welcome to the Questions That Don't Matter podcast,
where you get answers you don't need.
Disclaimer, we apologize in advance if you believe these questions do matter.
Question 1. Why are breakfast foods considered breakfast foods?
Well, my best guess is that it's just what people want in the morning. You know, oatmeal, bacon, eggs.
Okay. Well, before we can understand breakfast foods, we need to understand breakfast, the meal. So the purpose of breakfast was to break the fast between dinner and lunch, thus breakfast. Breakfast is meant to provide us with energy and nutrients for the rest of the day. That's what, breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so nutrients like calcium, iron, B vitamins, protein, and fiber are what we want to find in our breakfast foods. And the body needs these nutrients because if you don't get it for breakfast, it's likely you won't get it later in the day. So even though we look for breakfast foods to give us nutrients and energy for the rest of the day, what makes a breakfast food isn't necessarily the nutrients we get from it. It's that breakfast foods are really quick and easy to assemble.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, like a fried egg, you just toss in a pan, bacon, pancakes, oatmeal.
You're correct.
Yep. So it correlates with how busy we get in the morning, going to school or work, etc. So we want to be able to make something really fast. Efficient meals, like toast, Pop-Tarts. And then, it's just a simple task when it comes to fried eggs and bacon or other hot dishes that are usually made on the stovetop.
Do you think if we had more time in the morning, we would eat more elaborate meals?
No.
Okay. Why do we get songs stuck in our heads?
Does it have to do with, the way a song's formatted? About how easily it can get stuck in our heads?
So, you're actually correct, Amy. Songs which get stuck in our heads tend to have similar patterns, such as when the first pitch rises and the second one falls. This is common in songs like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So these are actually called involuntary music imagery, which is alternatively known as earworms. And people spend about 40% of their day thinking about other things than the task that is actually at hand. And this is called spontaneous cognition. And earworms are generally included in spontaneous cognition. So some of the top songs that people got stuck in their head from 2016 were Bad Romance by Lady Gaga, Can't Get You Out of My Head by Kylie Minogue, and Don't Stop Believing by Journey. And a lot more people are prone to getting earworms if they have OCD or neurotic tendencies.
Okay.
And some people who are more frequently affected by earworms have different thicknesses in certain areas of the brain. Also, some tips to assist in exterminating earworms may include listening to the song that's stuck in your head, listening to or thinking of a different song, and even chewing gum.
How would chewing gum help?
I don't really know.
Huh.
Why don't we put a comma in the year 2019?
Amy, I've been looking forward to this question. And my guess is that it's annoying to put a comma every time. I'm not really sure.
It's annoying to put, one little dot.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Quinn, I first wanted to see what some other people's theories were. And so on Reddit, I saw a lot of people saying that since the date is sometimes written out like January 1st, 2019, they said it would be confusing to put January 1st, 2, 019, which I don't think that's why, but. And then someone else said before the 2000s, the date was pronounced like 1989, 1979, so.
Oh, that's true.
I don't know though. That seems kind of
Did you find any concrete answers?
I just thought those were interesting.
Yeah.
Well, my final answer was that while commas are used to separate groups of 3 digits or more, commas are omitted usually from 4-digit numbers. So right now we're living in 4-digit years, so I just wanted to see. And for example, commas aren't either used in page numbers when it gets to thousands or addresses, for example. And same goes with years. So I just wanted to see if years with 5 digits or more did have commas, like when people used them.
Mm-hmm.
So I came across some articles. I just looked up like really prehistoric artifacts to see what dates they were found. And this one artifact, I'm super close to the microphone. This one artifact came from 50,000 BC, and there was a comma, 50, 000.
Wow.
And then same with and that was on the website Seeker. I'm just guessing they're trained in proper punctuation.
Hopefully. Yes.
And then another website, ancientcode.com. They were talking about some more ancient artifacts, and it was like 450,000 BC, 450, 000. So yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Why do we talk to babies and dogs in high voices?
Could it be because when you're younger, you can hear like higher pitched frequencies better than someone who's older? And I guess you could say the other way around, like they can't hear lower pitched frequencies, so talk to them high.
You're not correct on this one, Amy.
Man.
I apologize. The reason we talk to babies in high voices, babies in particular, is because they actually like it. We also hyper articulate our words when we talk to babies. We really accentuate what we're saying. And this is because we think it will help them understand what we're saying. And it might actually work.
Really?
Yeah, so talking in slower voices and hyper articulating and sometimes higher might help. And we do a similar thing when we talk to dogs. We don't really hyper articulate as much, knowing that they won't ever master our language, but we still continue to talk in high voices. And we usually end up talking in higher voices and hyper articulating if we think that the listener might have a difficult time understanding us. And that usually happens with dogs and babies. So, there you go.
Nice.
This has been Quinn.
And Amy.
Thanks for listening to our podcast, Questions That Don't Matter. Special thanks to these outside sources, BBC, Mental Floss, CBS, thedailymeal.com, Reddit, Seeker.com, ancient-code.com, for the information provided in this podcast.